Picture a Dutch merchant ship gliding into London harbor, its hold brimming with colonial tobacco. English dockworkers watch enviously as foreign traders pocket England's wealth. Parliament simmers with rage. Soon, everything changes. One law rewrites empire. Oliver Cromwell sits in his austere chamber, studying ledgers. Dutch ships dominate global trade, their profits staggering. England bleeds money. He clenches his fist. "We built these colonies," he mutters. "Yet Amsterdam grows fat on our labor." Across Europe, the Dutch Republic reigns supreme. Their merchants control spice routes, slave trades, colonial commerce. Their shipyards outpace all rivals. England watches from shadows, humiliated. Pride demands action. Economic survival demands revolution. The balance shifts tonight. October 1651. Parliament unveils the Navigation Act. Only English ships may transport colonial goods to England. Foreign merchants are banished from imperial trade routes. Dutch captains read the decree with disbelief. Their monopoly shatters overnight. Amsterdam trembles. Every barrel of Virginia tobacco, every pound of Caribbean sugar must travel in English vessels. Dutch middlemen vanish. English shipbuilders rejoice. In Rotterdam, merchant Willem van der Hoof watches his fortune crumble. His children will inherit debts, not dynasties. 20 years I built this company, Willem tells his wife, staring at empty warehouses. His ships once carried half England's colonial cargo. Now they rot at anchor. Cromwell's law destroyed him. He curses Parliament, but curses change nothing. English shipyards explode with activity. Carpenters hammer through darkness. New vessels emerge weekly. Sailors find employment everywhere. The merchant fleet doubles, then triples. England transforms from maritime weakling to naval contender, all because Parliament dared restrict foreign commerce. But this act ignites more than industry. Dutch anger boils into violence. Their warships patrol the English Channel, seizing merchants. Cromwell mobilizes the Royal Navy. Two proud nations edge toward war. Trade disputes become blood feuds. Cannons replace ledgers. Admiral Martin Tromp commands the Dutch fleet. His reputation terrifies enemies. When English ships challenge Dutch supremacy, he promises swift retaliation. "They dare exclude us?" He growls at his officers. His cannons will teach England humility. War becomes inevitable. May 1652. The First Anglo-Dutch War erupts. Ships clash off Dover. Cannon fire echoes across the Channel. Blood stains the waves. All because Parliament dared restrict trade. Economic rivalry becomes existential combat between Protestant powers desperate for dominance. Tromp sweeps the Channel, destroying English convoys. Then Robert Blake retaliates, sinking Dutch merchantmen. Neither side gains advantage. Ships burn, sailors drown. Young men die for merchant profits. The Navigation Act's price is measured in lives, not ledgers. In Virginia, tobacco planter Edward Harrison watches nervously. Will English ships arrive before crops rot? Prices fluctuate wildly. His neighbor prospers. He faces ruin. The distant parliamentary decree reshapes American lives. Empire means dependency. Freedom becomes illusion. He considers resistance. Caribbean sugar merchants face similar chaos. English captains demand higher fees, knowing colonists have no alternatives. Competition vanished overnight. Monopoly breeds exploitation. Plantation owners curse both Parliament and Amsterdam. Everyone suffers except English ship owners, who grow obscenely wealthy. Yet England's strategy succeeds. Despite war's costs, the merchant fleet grows stronger. By 1653, English vessels outnumbered Dutch competitors. Cromwell's vision materializes. England transforms from trader to trading power. Blood fertilizes commercial supremacy. Victory tastes bitter. Tromp dies in battle, June 1653. A cannonball tears through his chest during Scheveningen's savage fighting. His death breaks Dutch morale. Without their legendary admiral, the Republic seeks peace. The war ends months later. Holland mourns. The Treaty of Westminster brings fragile peace. Dutch merchants grudgingly accept England's trading restrictions. They retain some privileges but lose colonial dominance. England emerges victorious. The Navigation Act survives intact. Amsterdam's golden age begins its slow, inevitable decline. Peace proves temporary. The Act's principles expand relentlessly. By 1660, all colonial trade flows through England. Foreign goods must pass English customs. London becomes the empire's commercial heart. Control becomes absolute. Colonists notice. Their resentment grows quietly. In Boston, merchant Samuel Adams, grandfather of the Revolutionary, grumbles about English monopolies. He pays inflated prices for European goods. English middlemen extract enormous profits. Colonial resentment grows. The Navigation Act plants seeds of future rebellion. Laws breed revolution. New Amsterdam falls to English forces in 1664. The Dutch colony becomes New York. England's territorial expansion follows commercial dominance. Trade restrictions pave the way for conquest. You see the pattern. Economic policy becomes military strategy. Maps follow money. Scottish and Irish merchants also suffer under England's yoke. They're excluded from colonial trade despite sharing England's king. Only English ports benefit. Edinburgh's merchants protest bitterly. Belfast's traders demand equality. Unity fractures along economic lines. Empire divides Britain itself. Parliament ignores their complaints. English interests supersede all others. The Navigation Acts embody ruthless mercantilism. Wealth flows to London, nowhere else. This concentration of power and profit defines the next century. Centralization becomes England's governing principle. Resistance seems futile. Yet English smugglers thrive in shadows. Laws create opportunities for clever criminals. Colonial goods mysteriously reach Dutch ports through secret channels. Enforcement proves impossible. Corrupt officials accept bribes. The black market flourishes. Parliament's grand vision meets human ingenuity. Greed defeats regulation. In Barbados, planter Thomas Modiford navigates this new reality shrewdly. He befriends English ship captains, offering them generous terms. His competitors, who resisted the act, face bankruptcy. Adaptation means survival. Those who embrace change prosper. Modiford becomes wealthy. Modiford eventually becomes Jamaica's governor. His success illustrates a crucial lesson. The Navigation Acts reward collaborators handsomely. Colonial elites who align with London gain wealth and power. Resistance brings ruin. The system creates its own enforcers. Corruption becomes policy. Yet resistance never dies completely. By the 1670s, colonial merchants develop elaborate smuggling networks. They forge documents, bribe inspectors, use hidden coves. The Royal Navy cannot patrol every coastline. Laws prove easier to write than enforce. Defiance becomes profitable. The Second Anglo-Dutch War erupts in 1665. Again, trade rivalry ignites conflict. Dutch ships raid English colonies. England captures more Dutch territory. The pattern repeats endlessly. Economic competition becomes military confrontation. The Navigation Acts guarantee perpetual bloodshed. A third war follows in 1672. Europe watches Protestant powers destroy each other over commerce. France exploits their rivalry. Spain recovers strength. The Dutch and English bleed wealth fighting over trade routes. Mutual exhaustion finally brings lasting peace. By 1674, both nations recognize futility. Endless warfare enriches no one. A permanent settlement emerges. England keeps its Navigation Acts. The Dutch accept reduced influence. Both focus on fighting Catholic France instead. Pragmatism replaces pride. Economics yields to survival. Consider the Act's long-term impact. England develops the world's largest merchant fleet. London becomes Europe's financial capital. British naval supremacy begins here, in Cromwell's trade restrictions. One law launched an empire's ascent. Power requires patience. Vision requires violence. But these acts also breed colonial resentment that festers across generations. American merchants chafe under restrictions for decades. They envision direct trade with Europe, with Caribbean islands, with anyone willing to buy. English monopolies strangle their ambitions. Anger accumulates dangerously. By 1770, Boston's merchants openly defy the Navigation Acts. They smuggle French molasses, Dutch textiles, Spanish wine. When London tightens enforcement, colonists riot violently. The Acts helped build empire. They also helped destroy it. Policy becomes catalyst. Control breeds rebellion. The Acts reveal mercantilism's fundamental contradiction. Colonies exist to enrich the mother country, not themselves. Colonial prosperity must serve English interests exclusively. This exploitation breeds inevitable resistance. Dependent peoples eventually demand independence. Economics drives revolution. Empires consume themselves. Yet in 1651, such outcomes remain unimaginable. Parliament celebrates the Navigation Act's passage. They envision eternal English dominance, permanent colonial submission. They cannot foresee America's rebellion or empire's eventual collapse. Hubris blinds ambitious men. Pride precedes destruction. Consider the Act's revolutionary nature. Previous empires relied on military conquest alone. England weaponizes legislation instead. Trade restrictions prove more effective than armies. Economic control ensures political obedience. The Navigation Act pioneers a new imperialism. Law becomes weapon. Spain's empire crumbles because it hoards gold rather than controlling commerce. Portugal declines because it cannot defend trade routes. The Dutch Republic fails to translate commercial success into territorial empire. England learns from every mistake. Observation breeds advantage. Wisdom requires watching. The Navigation Acts embody that learning perfectly. They create a closed imperial economy. Raw materials flow from colonies to England. Manufactured goods return at inflated prices. England controls both supply and demand. Perfect exploitation requires perfect regulation. Theory becomes practice. This system generates enormous wealth rapidly. English textile mills process colonial cotton. English refineries process colonial sugar. English shipyards build vessels for colonial trade. Every step adds English profit. Integration maximizes extraction. Efficiency becomes exploitation. Commerce becomes conquest. Colonial governors enforce the acts through patronage and punishment. Loyal merchants receive lucrative contracts and prestigious titles. Resistors face prosecution and ruin. The system corrupts everyone it touches. Loyalty becomes commodity. Principle surrenders to profit. Morality dies quietly. In Caribbean islands, the acts intensify slavery's unspeakable horrors. Sugar production explodes under English monopoly. Planters import more enslaved Africans to meet soaring demand. The Royal Navy protects slave ships alongside merchant vessels. Trade restrictions subsidize human trafficking. Profit requires suffering. Thus, the Navigation Act's legacy contains profound moral darkness. It enriches England through colonial exploitation and enslaved labor. Efficiency and evil intertwine inseparably. The same law that builds British power enables unspeakable suffering. Progress costs souls. Prosperity demands blood. Yet Parliament sees only prosperity and power. Tax revenues soar. The merchant class grows wealthy beyond imagination. Naval power intimidates rivals. England transforms from peripheral island to global force. Success validates cruelty. Victory excuses crimes. Power corrupts absolutely. Conscience disappears. The acts also reshape English society fundamentally. Merchant families gain political influence rivaling aristocrats. Commercial wealth buys parliamentary seats. Traditional hierarchies weaken. The Navigation Act helps create a new ruling class based on trade, not birth. Money replaces bloodlines. This social transformation breeds political innovation. Merchants demand representation in Parliament. They fund political factions. They lobby for favorable policies. Democracy's roots grow in commercial soil. The Navigation Act helps fertilize constitutional government. Economics drives political evolution. Commerce creates freedom. Meanwhile, Dutch decline accelerates tragically. Amsterdam's merchants lose colonial markets. Their shipbuilding industry contracts painfully. French competition intensifies. The Republic never fully recovers from England's trade restrictions. The Navigation Act helps shift Europe's economic center westward. Geography follows policy. By 1700, England clearly dominates Atlantic commerce. Spanish silver flows through London. French sugar passes English customs. Dutch merchants operate with English permission. The Navigation Act's vision fully materializes. Cromwell's ghost must smile. Ambition achieves fruition. Vision becomes reality, but colonists grow restless. A century of restrictions breeds deep resentment. Young Americans know only English monopolies. They imagine different futures, impossible freedoms. The acts, once instruments of empire, become instruments of rebellion. Tools create resistance. Power breeds opposition. In 1763, Britain tightens enforcement after the 7 Years' War. Colonial smuggling must end. Trade laws will be strictly observed. Revenue must increase. London demands obedience. Americans respond with protests, then riots. Finally, revolution. Pressure creates explosion. The Navigation Acts become central grievances in the Declaration of Independence. Cutting off our trade with all parts of the world. Jefferson's words echo colonial fury. The empire built through trade restrictions collapses over trade restrictions. Irony defines history. Causes become consequences. Thus, Cromwell's legacy proves paradoxical. His law creates British wealth and power beyond imagination. It also creates American independence. The Navigation Act builds an empire, then demolishes it. Cause becomes consequence. Victory seeds defeat. Success breeds failure. History laughs. After American independence, Britain maintains navigation acts for remaining colonies stubbornly. Canada, Caribbean islands, India, all suffer similar restrictions. The system persists until the mid-19th century. Mercantilism dies slowly, painfully. Bad ideas outlive their usefulness. Wisdom arrives late. Adam Smith attacks the Navigation Acts in The Wealth of Nations. He demonstrates their inefficiency, their injustice, their ultimate futility. Free trade, he argues, benefits everyone. Monopolies harm even monopolists. His reasoning gradually prevails. Truth defeats policy. Economics embraces reality. By 1849, Britain repeals most navigation acts. Free trade becomes national policy. Colonies gain commercial freedom. The transformation seems revolutionary, yet it acknowledges reality. The acts became unenforceable, their costs exceeding benefits. Pragmatism defeats ideology. Reality wins. Yet the acts' influence lingers like a ghost. They established patterns of imperial control that persist. The idea that colonies exist to serve metropolitan interests outlives specific laws. Mercantilism evolves, but never disappears. Economic exploitation finds new forms. History repeats itself. Today, historians debate the Navigation Act's true impact. Did they accelerate British development or distort it? Did they provoke American independence or merely provide convenient justification? Questions remain unanswered. History resists simple narratives. Truth remains elusive. Debate continues endlessly. Some scholars argue the acts benefited everyone ultimately. English merchants gained markets. Colonists gained protection. The Royal Navy defended colonial shipping. Integration created efficiencies. Prosperity, though unequally distributed, increased overall. The system worked. Mutual benefit existed. Others see only exploitation and theft. Colonists paid inflated prices, received depressed payments. England extracted wealth through legal coercion. The acts represented systematic robbery. Colonial poverty subsidized English luxury. The system was criminal. Justice demands acknowledgement. Truth requires honesty. Both views contain partial truth. The Navigation Acts created winners and losers. English merchants prospered. Colonial merchants suffered. English workers gained employment. Colonial consumers paid higher prices. Every system benefits some at others' expense. Fairness remains impossible. Equality stays elusive. But the Act's deeper significance lies elsewhere entirely. They represent early modern statecraft's evolution. Cromwell's Parliament understood economic power as strategic asset. Trade became warfare by other means. The Navigation Act pioneers economic nationalism. Innovation reshapes power. Policy becomes weapon. This innovation shapes our modern world profoundly. Nations still manipulate trade for strategic advantage. Tariffs, sanctions, trade agreements, all descend from the Navigation Act's logic. Economic policy remains inseparable from geopolitics. Cromwell's vision endures. History repeats. Patterns persist. Power evolves. The Acts also demonstrate legislation's immense power. One law transformed global commerce. Parliament's words reshaped continents. Legal innovation proved as consequential as military conquest. The pen rivaled the sword, ideas became weapons, words changed worlds. Paper conquered nations. Yet power always breeds resistance, inevitably. The Navigation Acts created conditions for American independence, Irish nationalism, Indian self-rule. Empire contained its own destruction. Exploitation generates revolution. The cycle repeats endlessly. Oppression breeds rebellion. Control creates chaos. Tyranny produces freedom. Walking through London's financial district today, you pass institutions the Navigation Acts helped create. Banks, insurance companies, trading houses all trace lineage to Cromwell's commercial revolution. The past lives in the present. History breathes around you. Memory persists everywhere. In Boston, New York, Charleston, the colonists' descendants barely remember the acts that enraged their ancestors. History fades into textbooks. Grievances become footnotes. Yet those laws shaped everything: independence, democracy, American identity itself. Forgetting changes nothing. Memory matters. The Navigation Act of 1651 stands among history's most consequential legislation. It launched British imperial supremacy. It provoked Anglo-Dutch wars. It enriched England, enslaved Africans, impoverished colonists. It helped create America through opposition. One law changed everything. 1651, one law. Everything changed. Cromwell's Parliament sought wealth and power. They achieved both, then lost both. The Navigation Act built an empire that consumed itself. History remembers the ambition, the vision, the ultimate futility. Empires rise. Empires fall.